There it goes. Welcome, welcome, welcome to.
Denim and Pearls. My name is
Aw,
Dr. Michelle Maras.
and I'm Brian
You are
Swanson.
watching Denim and Pearls. Who are you?
I'm Brian Swanson.
And I am looking for our live coming on because I don't see it. Are we
It's-
there?
I
It's
I
on your
hope we're
page,
there.
Brian. It's on your bright page. You're going to have to share it to Denim and Pearls.
Okay, let me see. I'm doing a refresh. There it is. Share.
My goodness, technical difficulties.
It is. So where are you at? Oh, we didn't do our tagline. And make sure you like and share because we're trying to. It says it's sharing. There we go.
Okay. Well, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Bing, and Boston, San Bernardino for you.
So why didn't we call this Route 66?
We'll call it Route 66 when I'm actually driving it. I'm just in Scottsdale, Arizona for a high
Yeah.
school reunion. We're having our little Christmas ball that we all get together for. It's really awesome.
Oh yeah. You're actually, that's kind of interesting because I never hear from my graduating class. Never.
And it's funny because we went to school in the Philippines at Clark Air Base. We're from all different years and we still come together. And even though we didn't even go to school together. We're like 6 years apart, 10 years apart, whatever.
Oh, really?
So when we come together, it's like we've become family. We became classmates, even though we didn't go to school at the same time. We went to the
Right.
same school. And the whole topic of layers is about that. We all, you walk into the room, everyone, yeah, that's person. Oh, yeah, that's a person. And then you sit down, you talk, and you learn so much about what makes a person who they are and the things
Mhm.
they've gone through. And so I wanted to talk about layers because we're all onions, or as my friend Nathan Cook likes to say, we're cake.
Cake layers. Yeah, I prefer the cake layers because there's fewer of them. Onion layers there's a whole lot of them, but I think onion might be a little bit more appropriate because there are so many things that we all do. It's just like me. You talk about the stuff that I do as far as life insurance and investments and websites and karaoke and DJing and those are just the things that I do. Those are the things that are pretty much important to me. That doesn't even get into something. When I found the song Layers, it doesn't get
I love that
into.
song.
It was really cool because
Yeah.
that gets in, and you probably retain more of it than I did when I listened to it the first time. But it was really cool because it was talking about morals and standards and ethics and motivation and inspiration and.
Well, basically, it's saying layers. I'm not just this. I have opinions. I have a past. I have experiences, and we all do. And that's why I wanted to talk about layers because, as we're going through our holiday season, and we like to get on people about their New Year's resolutions. It's about layers. It's about how much are you willing to peel back to be the person you truly are at the core. And we have a lot of listeners who told us last year that they are, working on their New Year's resolutions, and we said, "Bah humbug, New Year's resolutions! Start doing it now." And I know there are people who are still working on their New Year's resolutions from last year who have not got to them before this year,
Or
and
started them.
or started then stopped and said, "Oh, I'll start again in 2025." And so those are layers of things. So earlier today, I did a Facebook Live, and my sound was horrible, and I was standing outside, and I won't do that again because it was too hard to hear me. But I was
We're
talking
doing pretty
about
good so far.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
I went inside to my room. I was outside, but I was talking about how layers of fear. So I was relating from me. I have surgery coming up, and the first time I heard I needed surgery, I was angry. Okay, I was angry because I said, I've dropped over 240 something pounds. I am healthy. I work out every day. I do everything right. Right. How could this happen? I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
And when I peeled back the layer of that anger, it was frustration. It wasn't anger. And then I peeled back that frustration again, and it's like it was fear. I've done everything right and something went wrong. The perfectionist in me, she got kind of hit in the side of the head doing, don't care what you do, life happens. And so I had to realize fear was behind that anger. It was the layers of the onion, or in our case, the layers of the chocolate cake that Michelle is. And I had to address that. And so I really wanted to talk about layers because of that. A lot of times when we have emotions about things, I mean, you have something going on in your life too, your teeth. And
I'm trying not to
that
smile.
uh, the initial instinct is really not it. At the very base, it's something else. And I wanted all of us to be talking about that because with the New Year's resolutions, why haven't you started? Why haven't you finished? Why did you stop? Are you going to start again? What is the background? What is the base of why it hasn't happened? What's the base of why you haven't started or why you gave up? Everything's
Well,
got a base.
you were talking about medical. So what comes to my mind at that point is the fact that we always, especially in Western medicine, we have a tendency to treat the symptoms, not the
Band-Aid.
cause. Whereas in Eastern philosophy, they like to get to the cause of the symptoms. And I think this is kind of the same way. Everything that we do, we normally anyway, and especially in the public eye, we cater to the symptoms. We don't necessarily cater to the fact that our life is screwed up and that's what's causing the problem on the outside, or the truck got stolen. you know so there's always that root cause, or that root pain that is actually not, or let's say it's crazy things. The hole in your heart, let's say it's a little bit of lack of energy. Well, if you try to just do nothing but drink a whole bunch of Nas or Red Bull or something
An
like
energy
that.
drink. Okay. I was like,
Yeah,
what's
an energy
NARS?
drink. So if you try to drink a whole bunch of that just to get over the fact that I feel fine when I've had all my caffeine, well, the root cause of that real problem is the hole in your heart.
Well, if you want to go really into, like, let's say with my hole in my heart, since my car accident in 2014, I had that traumatic brain injury. I was in and out of consciousness, not really working well in my brain, started moving. And then I would get dizzy spells, and I would get times when I couldn't focus and I couldn't remember what just happened. And I'd walk in a daze. I would be doing things and I don't remember anything. And that's why you travel with me and I travel with Dr. Smiley, because I need someone to make sure if I have one of those moments, I don't get lost or hurt or whatever. And all this time I thought it was my traumatic brain injury. Stop laughing.
I'm thinking one of those kids' harnesses with the leash on it.
Or who said it? My friend Tim Heller out of Omaha. He said he wants to hook a balloon to my belt buckle or something, my belt, so that he can find me when I'm wandering around. Just let me go and just put a balloon on me. But
One of
anyways,
the bicycle flags.
but back to that thing. My root cause, I thought, of all the dizziness was my traumatic brain injury. I've said it from stage. I get a little dizzy. It's my traumatic brain injury. And going through this process with my hole in my heart, the neurologist says, well, do you get dizzy spells and you kind of black out a little bit and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, because that's not your traumatic brain injury. It's your heart. I've got bad blood circulating. I don't have 100% oxygen blood going to my brain. So I will get dizzy. And remember, Brian, when I eat, I get really tired and I get really kind of loopy. So I don't like to eat. When you eat, your body sends blood down to where your digestive system is so it can digest. So when I eat, I get dizzy because all the low oxygen blood I already have going through my brain lower. So all this time, I thought it was my brain injury. It's my heart not sending enough oxygen to my body.
So it's not all in your head.
It's not all in my head. It's in my heart. So root causes, it's the layers. On the surface layer, it's like she got hit by a car. Of course, it's her brain injury. No, it's definitely
Well,
not my brain injury.
we relate all this stuff to either work or life, work-life
Yeah,
balance kind of stuff.
we do both,
Even in our
though.
businesses in that, take a brick and mortar business, for instance, and all of a sudden you keep getting the fact that there's bad customer reviews on Yahoo or Google or whatever, on all of those nice little rating sites. And it all has to do with your customer service. Well, is it customer service because of you as the owner? Or is it customer service because you happen to hire the wrong person? And one person is causing it. So now you have to go down to what's your root cause? Well, the root cause is that one person I brought in that I didn't vet properly, or it could be something else completely different. Maybe it's just the fact that, because you and I have both walked into different buildings, facilities, restaurants where they smell.
Yeah, we
They're
walk right
older
back out.
buildings, right? They're older buildings. You walk in and go, oh my goodness. Well, that's not the fault of the business owner necessarily, unless they're the one who owns the building. But the root cause of your bad customer service is because people are walking in and going, "Ew, what's that smell?" Which is a song, by the way. Um, Ooh, that smell. Anyhow, they walk in and they smell that, and then they walk out. And then what do? You got a bad review because nobody wants to sit in your business.
Well, people think
So
it's dirty. Smell equates dirty.
yeah, and I mean there are buildings out there that it's a problem mechanically, if you will, that you can't solve the problem as a business owner. And then if you're the owner of the building and you don't take care of it, well, that affects everybody else that's in the building if you have multiple, businesses in it.
In my past, one of my past lives, as I was a quality examiner, and that's one of the things we would do. We would go through a company, read everything that was going on, how measure their effectiveness and their overall effectiveness and their effectiveness towards their mission and vision and all that. And then we would go into each of the individual or offices or departments in there and go down into that. And what we would do is we would find where was the problem. Where's the problem and why isn't it more efficient? And 99%
In the military, we called that TQM.
Yeah, I was one
Total
of them.
quality management.
I was one of those people that you guys hated. But anyways, what it ended up being is it would always come down to the workforce. Were they happy? Did you hire the right person? And did you
Oh yeah.
and did you train them enough for them to be able to handle any problem that did come up? And what usually happened was an employee was not completely educated when they came in. They were winging it when things happened, or when bad things happened, they would just drop it or pass it to someone else so they wouldn't get blamed, like hot potato. Hot potato, hot potato, I don't want it, hot potato. And so it always comes down to people. And so people and their layers. See, we got back to layers.
Hmm?
Why would they not pick up that hot potato and try to solve it? Well, because something above them, management above them, punished other people for touching that hot potato. It's my job, get out of their business. What do you think you're doing, trying to get my job? And so people don't take care of the hot potato. They pass it, they throw it.
Or the other way, it's not my job. That's one we see a lot of these days.
Yes. So that's the whole thing is when a situation happens in your world and it upsets you or whatever, realize there's something deeper in everything. There's whoever you're dealing with has their own layers and their own background. And whatever situation you're seeing, like walking into a stinky restaurant, there's layers there. Maybe their pipes are backing up and it's not the kitchen, it's not their food, it's something they cannot control and they're just smiling and bearing with it. So in every situation, like Brian and I say very, very often, it's perspective. It's from each person's perspective, from how they are dealing with whatever they're dealing with and what moment in time you are seeing them in and what perspective you're looking them at from your past.
you just said it, and I've thought it before, but it really just came to a full head-on idea of fruition, if you will. We've done 198 shows, plus a
Oh,
couple.
already?
This is number 198. And do you realize that all 198 of them have to do with perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the way that our fans out there think, whether it's the way we think, the information that we share, the information that we give, the experiences that we have, the experiences that everybody else has, everything has to do with perspective.
Everything's perspective. I've said that a
Everything.
zillion times. Everything is. So no matter what is happening in your world, it's always perspective. I mean, I've learned
People
that.
might, I look at it too, people might look at this and go, who's that, that toothless dude that's the first time they see our show go, who's that toothless dude? But they don't know the story behind it because it's their first time, but it's their perspective of the toothless dude,
Wait, stop. They see a toothless dude. I'm asking all of you watching right now or on the replay. When you see a toothless dude, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You don't need to write it down. I want you to say in your head what comes to your mind and realize you listen to Brian, you've been on these calls, on these lives, and you've watched us before. That first instinct, how close is it to true? Because
I hope
Brian,
not.
But that's what I'm saying. No matter how much we want to not be objective like that and look at someone and make a quick judgment, we are instinctually judgmental as humans. In order to not be, you have to make judgment and then back yourself off of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do not do that. A lot of people make their judgment and in the back of their head, they're doing, oh, they're just going to prove me right. Oh, they're going to prove me. Stop it. Stop it. Let it be. And so like Brian has his own perspective. He has in his head that people are going to judge him differently because of he's toothless. So he's trying not to smile. When he does that, what happens is he makes the perspective of what people are expecting with a toothless man and his expectations of what people are going to expect from a toothless man true. Get it?
It's a rock and a hard place.
You force it to happen by being self-conscious about it. So just freaking own it. Just own it.
Well, I must have ran Eric off because he hasn't come back today.
He didn't come back today because we didn't go live on Denim and Pearls. We're only live on your page.
No, we're live on Denim and Pearls. It should be there. But that's okay.
Oh, yeah, we are. We are now.
Yeah, because it should be there twice, actually.
No, we're only there once. Oh, we are there twice. You shared it.
But that's okay. We'll deal with
that
later.
Okay. When you're running around in your own perspectives and judging yourself, now remember, you have to understand you are the hardest judge of yourself.
We all are.
When you're already judging yourself, I'm talking to everybody. When you're judging yourself, and you're thinking low of yourself, you are projecting that exact same thing out. So you have to let it go and own who you are, what you are. And it's not a physical thing. I mean, I mean, you've seen me change over the years. I mean, just go to my YouTube page. Holy smokes, I didn't even recognize myself from 4 years ago. It's like, who's that lady? Oh, heck, that's me. I've always seen myself as me.
I did my driver's license yesterday, as you know.
Did you smile for your picture?
No. I didn't want that to be my history for the next 5 years or 10 years, however that long it is. But when I got it, the girl looks at the picture from my current one and then my new one, and she goes, "You didn't change." I'm like, yes, minus a little bit of weight. So I feel like Dick Clark now.
Didn't Dick Clark look like leather by the time he died?
Oh, well, he might have in the very end, but Dick Clark
you don't want to look like
forever
leather.
young.
That is true, but he did look like leather at the end. But my thing is I'm out here with an amazing group of people. We all have our little backstories and what's happening in our world. We all went to the same high school. That's the only common thread we have. And to hear all the different stories is just amazing. I would love for you to come with me one day, Brian, because these people are awesome. I want to write a book and gather all their stories and just make it like stories from as a military brat, and then share one of the most monumental stories in their life in the book, because we all went through the same thing, okay? And so we saw like Mount Pinatubo explode, and we watched the base get flooded with ash. I wasn't there for that one. I had already left. And they watched a base get consumed by ash and be evacuated and leave everything. And then some of us, the older ones, we were there when Marcos took over. And so we all have these like traumatic experiences, but when we share the stories, they're not traumatic. It's like it opens something else in us. And so I want to get these stories out, because the layers on how every one of us reacted differently to these situations, it's phenomenal, the resiliency of the people in this room.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
So
everything's
smile.
What's that?
I said, so smile, damn it.
I like, I got to thinking, and it's kind of the same thing. I was working with VA benefits, and I go to the website, and I can't find something. And I walk through that, and I spend an hour trying to find information that's supposed to be there, right? And then I sit there, and as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, I've got a lot of expertise on on websites and whatever else it might be. It sounds really kind of silly, but then I'm sitting there thinking, what about the guy that's 10, 20 years older than I am, who's trying to navigate the system and can't find things? I'm going, this means that site doesn't work real well.
It's a government site. What do you think?
Well, yeah, it's a government site, but it's one of those things. But it's another one of those. I mean, we want to go back into layers here a little bit, because that's my layer of knowledge. If I can't figure it out, how does somebody else figure it out who doesn't even have that layer of knowledge? Who, they walked into a place and, oh, sign in here on the website when you get home. Huh? They don't use the internet very often. It might even be somebody younger than me, but I have a tendency to kind of cover all those bases. But there's people out there, like if you were to put my father-in-law on a website to find out whatever, first of all, you got to be able to get him to go to the website, because he might know that, yeah, I know what a website is, but after that,
no, he would just drive to the thing and say, do it.
Yeah. So layers of education is another one of those things. I mean,
it's layers of tolerance.
Oh, that too. Tolerance is a big one for anything. How much can you take? When somebody does something, I mean, we go back to going into the store. You're looking for something. Somebody walks up beside you, but they don't acknowledge. An employee walks up beside you and doesn't acknowledge you. And then you say, well, where do I find this? And they just look at, yeah, it should be down that row. Down what row? There's tolerance there that you have to have. Do you go find somebody else to do it, or do you go try to figure it out yourself?
Yeah, it's funny, because tolerance with me, grocery store, I know what I want, where it is. And if I don't know where it is, if they move everything around like Safeway did to me not too long ago, it ticked me off, because I don't want to walk through a store. I go in, I get the 4 things I want, and I get out. And when they shifted everything, I remember doing, I can't shop here. And my husband loves to go up and down every aisle. So he was loving it, because it was like a mystery game, it's a puzzle. He got to refigure out. And I'm like,
it's a new experience.
I'm like, I want out of here. I want to know where everything is. And that's my layer of tolerance. Now, here's the thing. You put me in a boutique, and I will go through every rack. I love to shop for clothes.
You mean like apricot?
Yes, like Apricot. Yes, Apricot Lane in Colorado Springs. I'm plugging them. I love going there, and I also love the lavender one out in Westcliff. I love digging through and finding really neat clothes that no one else has. And Sparkles and Lace, but they closed their brick and mortar, so now it's only online. But I love to do that, even if I don't buy anything. I just like looking. But you put me in a grocery store where I expect everything to be where it's supposed to be. I don't shop. My husband shops because
Okay, I got to
don't
plug
like
my own Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight. Everything's always where it's supposed to be, and that's
Yeah, but
why
I
I like.
still go. I still, I'm like Michael. I go up and down the aisles, seeing if there's just something I might need that day.
Well, I will go up and down aisles in Ace Hardware because I love the knick-knacky things they just kind of put at like end caps. And then I love the popcorn. So I always like to find where the popcorn machine is in Ace. But Home Depot and Lowe's, by golly, everything better be where it's supposed to be. I have no tolerance for the chaos. So my layers are shallow.
So let's kind of roll ourselves back into layers. How is this all?
We're still in layers.
Okay, I'm just checking.
There's layers of emotion, there's layers of tolerance, there's layers of knowledge, there's layers in everything. And understand not everyone is at the same layer, especially when you're talking to them getting frustrated. One of the things that let's say Gary Barnes used to always say, we're all on the same road, all the same highway, we're just on different mile markers. That's different layers. So think about that the next time you get upset. This person's an idiot. No, either you're just not looking at it from the same signpost. They're on exit.
People are strange.
They're on exit 32, and you're on exit 12. So don't judge them. Just know that they're in a different place than you are.
That's why you get a coach that's a few mile markers ahead of you.
Yes.
That's one way to look at it. I hate a coach that's at the same mile marker or behind you.
Well, so like with me, I'm a coach. I help people through things. But my coach is Dr. Paul Sheely. And he's trained, John Maxwell and Tony Robbins and those people. So he's a mindset coach for mindset coaches. Dang, Skippy,
and you're still not perfect.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to someone at a higher level than me because it's not like he's better. He's just been through more and studied more. So I can learn from him as he's still growing too. Always find someone, as John Maxwell says, the law of the lid, someone with a higher level than you. And that way you can keep growing without stagnating.
Yeah. What really sucks is when you pay that person and then you find out they're not at your level or they're not higher than you. What's that?
You've got to figure that out before you hire them. You've done that.
That's called from experience.
Yeah.
I hired a coach one time, and then within about 2 weeks, 2 sessions, if you will, I realized that this guy doesn't know as much as I do.
Well, that's why in my contracts, my agreements, I say I can fire you and you can fire me because we might get along great for the first month or two. And then I do, you know what? You are not growing. You need someone else. And I'll pass you to someone else and say, go, because you and I'm not going to grow you. You won't listen to me. That's the other thing. It doesn't have to be that they're higher than you. Someone you would be willing to listen to.
Somebody holds you accountable.
Yeah. And so if I've got, not just accountable. So like, I'm very good at holding people accountable, but when you have someone who's dragging their feet, you have to understand as a coach, I have my own life. I have my own goals. And if I've got a client who refuses to move, you're dragging me back with you. You become an anchor in my world and my mindset. So I let you go so that I can keep soaring. Yeah. It happens in everything. It doesn't have to be a coaching relationship. It's relationships, friends, okay, family, office worker things. If someone's dragging you down, you need to separate. And I'm going to use my daughter as an example. She was freaking miserable at her last job. Her new job, she has grown exponentially just by being happy.
Mm-hmm.
So look at your environment and see how much is it affecting you. And I'm not saying go quit your job because you're unhappy. Okay. What I'm saying is look for other options while you keep your job.
That's true too. Strategically change.
And
Yeah,
don't
we're at
burn
30
bridges.
minutes.
Because the other thing about that is when you hate something and you're like, oh, I want to get out. I'm going to get out of here. I'm getting a new job. I hate this place. And go all over Facebook and talk about how much you hate the place. Realize the place that you're working now that you want to leave will have to write your letter of recommendation for the next place. Do not burn bridges.
Till you know that they're dead. I've burned a few bridges in my lifetime.
There's some bridges I don't care if they say anything bad, because if they say something bad, that's good, because it means I'm not aligned with them, and I want everyone to know that.
I've got stories for that. Anyway,
Well,
we
been
have
talking
hit
for 30 minutes.
we have hit 31 minutes. I think it's time we get off.
And my internet has stayed stable, so I'm quite excited about that. So
Yeah.
everyone, thank you for
Slowed down a
joining us.
couple times there and had to catch back up, but we're good.
Thank you for joining us on Denim and Pearls, and hope to see you next week, Friday, same bat time, same bat channel, noon Mountain Standard Time. My name is Dr. Michelle Moraz.
Don't forget to like and share. I'm Brian
My name is
Swanson.
Dr. Michelle Moraz.
And I'm Brian Swanson. Did you lose me?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're
Anyhow.
Denim and Pearls. We're business casual
With pearls of wisdom.
from the porch. So have a great one, everyone, and we'll see you next week, and I'll have a whole heart by then.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good luck in your endeavors.
Not luck for me. I just need to sleep. The doctor needs to be the crafty one. I just need to sleep.
Okay.
Take care,
We're
everybody.
out of here.
Bye.
Peace. Something like that.